Well, I probably should have gotten this video out a little sooner. One of my first, actually, the first video where I actually talked about Dragon Ball Fighters, I wanted it to be a prediction video because there's a lot of prediction videos that I just didn't agree with a lot that seemed to use some very strange logic that I don't think people are really analyzing the way characters are being done in this game. And so I think some people were thinking that they would take a lot of liberties with the characters and do some crazy wacky stuff like put Videl in the game and just invent a moveset for Videl out of thin air. Just pull a moveset completely out of their ass. And a lot of people were also speculating stuff like 17 and 18 being two different separate characters, and we already know that's not going to happen. There's a lot of things that we already know is not going to happen. So I made my speculation video where I was predicting that Tien would be the first character, but then Tien already came out. So then I changed it before I made it to Gotenks. And the day after I actually finally decided Gotenks would be the best character for them to put in, the character that makes the most sense, and the character that I was damn sure had the best opportunity of being in the game, was Gotenks. The day after I uploaded that's when Ginyu and Nappa were announced, and I was like, holy shit, Gotenks has to be coming, right? Like, Gotenks makes way more sense than these guys, but it's not about who makes the most sense. It's about they already have the characters all planned out, and they're just releasing them in the cutest order they can find possible. They did androids, and then they did Yamcha and Tien, like our human friends, and then they did Nappa and Ginyu, are weaker enemy type characters who will still be playable. Yet, they're weaker, not like weaker in the game, but weaker in terms of where characters' power levels are now. Like in the current canon, Tien could probably one-shot Nappa, whereas back in the day, Nappa gave Tien a hard time. Tien could probably fucking one-shot Nappa now. Especially considering Yamcha and Tien actually took down the Ginyu Force. They are actually stronger than Captain Ginyu, and that's saying something because Yamcha and Tien were stronger at that point than when Krillin, Gohan, and Vegeta fought the Ginyu Force. They all had trouble with the Ginyu Force members. Yamcha, Tien, Chaozu mopped the floor with them, basically. So they did get stronger as time went on. They didn't just stay at that Saiyan Saga level. They got stronger. And yeah, Tien could probably one-shot Nappa, but either way, I announced Gotenks was my top choice. He was the character I thought would have a 100% guaranteed chance of being in the game. I actually did start to fear a little bit that he might be DLC once 8 DLC characters were announced. And it kind of makes me think they're probably not going to all be from Dragon Ball Super. All 8 of them, they're probably not going to all be from the movies or GT. In fact, I don't think we'll see anyone from GT, but they probably won't all be characters from Super and movies. In fact, movie characters might not even fucking happen, especially with the addition of Kale in Dragon Ball Super. Luckily now, in the current show, there's a fusion character between Kale and the other Saiyan girl. I believe her name is Khalifa. And basically they're Khalifa when they fuse. That character might have more of a chance than being in than just Kale, because I can't see them doing Brawly and Kale. Maybe if they do Khalifa, they can do Brawly as well, but if they're doing any movie character, it would be Brawly. The rest of the movie characters I don't think they'd have enough of a moveset, and not only that, but who fucking people like Cooler just because of the way he looks. Who wants Cooler, really? Besides that, who even Super 13? No. Most of the movie characters are seriously trash, and they don't have a unique moveset at all. Brawly's the only one who has a somewhat unique moveset, and Kale exists, so it's even why do Brawly now that we have Super? But they could do Brawly just because of the fusion character. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent here. The 3 new characters were announced. Gohan, adult version, as in the Mystic version. Kid Buu, which is the last version of Buu. And Gotenks, which is, of course, Goten and Trunks fused. And like I said, this made a lot of sense because Future Trunks and Kid Trunks are two different characters. Kid Trunks is not going to grow up into Future Trunks. Future Trunks is just Trunks merely from the future, and it's a different timeline, so it's going to have a different outcome. Future Trunks is a fan favorite. He's extremely important to the Cell Saga. If Trunks never, like, if there was never a Buu Saga, we would have never even gotten Kid Trunks. And the show could have ended at the Cell Saga, you know? And so Future Trunks is too iconic and too important as a character to not be included. But it does beg to differ, like, what do we do with Kid Trunks? Should Kid Trunks be a playable character in the game? He's stronger than characters like Krillin, so why wouldn't he be? But then what makes the most sense was to, instead of making separate characters for Trunks and Goten, was to just do Gotenks. And just make it straight up fucking Gotenks. And, man, this one prediction video, it's kind of got a lot of views on it, which is sad, but oh my god, they thought maybe Gotenks would be Goten and Trunks, like, fighting simultaneously, and then you'd have to do a move to transform. Jesus Christ, you guys. Jesus Christ, that's not what this kind of game is. It's not just a wacky, crazy game. It's based around, like, an actual fighting game style. Like, it's trying to be based around mechanics of a normal-ass fighting game, but with some Dragon Ball Z mechanics mixed in to make, like, this really fast-paced, fun game. And that's what it is. It's like, it still feels like you're watching the show, even though it plays more like a normal fighting game, and that's why it's fucking awesome. You know, it brings a lot of elements from DBZ to the fighting game table in a lot different style than what Budokai did. And speaking of Budokai, with the addition of Kid Buu, I'm very excited because normally in Budokai and in Tenkaichi and a lot of the other games, I stray away from Kid Buu, even though I like Buu. I especially like Super Buu. And I like these versions of Buu more than Fat Buu, but I never play as them because they're always really powerful at their base level. And I don't like playing as an OP character. Like, for example, I don't really like playing as, like, Goku and then using Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and being like, oh, look at me, I'm so good at the game. I have more fun playing as a character like Piccolo or Trunks, where they have two transformations, and they have some, like, pretty cool, unique movesets, and I will work my ass off to win fights, and I have more fun playing the game that way. With FighterZ, the game's actually balanced, so most characters are going to be around the same power level. I think even Nappa is going to be stronger than Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, which is way incorrect. You know, that's not the way it should be, but either way, you know, it's going to be like a fun game, and Kid Buu is going to be more viable for a lot of players. So they're not going to have to, it's not going to be like he's the OP boss character. Instead, it's going to be like, oh, cool, I get to play as this character who has stretchy limbs, who has the ability to kick the ground and have his foot come up from, like, another point in the ground. I really hope that move is in the game. He has ability to shoot a bunch of energy blasts in the air that all rain down. Like, these are moves, and he also, of course, he has his famous move where he turns into a ball and flies forward. Now, I'm pretty sure that ball move will at least be in the game, and I know Vanishing Ball, or otherwise known as the Earth-shattering, like, ball attack, the Earth-destroying energy ball attack, that's going to be his level 3. So I don't know what all moves Kid Buu is going to have. There's no video out yet, but I'm suspecting some stuff like that, and that will make Kid Buu a super interesting character. He's going to be really fast, going to have a lot of range, and going to have a lot of versatile attacks. He's going to be a lot of fun. I don't necessarily think he'll be a fan favorite character, but he will be one of those characters that the people who master him will probably do well, and I think he's going to be exciting. With Gohan, they're doing something very interesting with his. They're giving him a transformation, sort of like Frieza, and that's how you access his, like, mystic form, and that's really cool. We haven't seen it in action, so my description might be a little incorrect, but we do know he's going to have some sort of transformation type move, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be his level 3. Adult Gohan's great because even though he's another character who shoots Kamehameha and wears an orange gi like Goku and Krillin and now Yamcha, he is at least a character who doesn't have spiky yellow hair. And there's a lot of spiky yellow-haired motherfuckers in this game. So adding adult Gohan, that adds a little more diversity to the characters in the fact that not all the good guys have spiky yellow hair. It's really cool to see like a normal Saiyan character, even though he's not really a normal Saiyan. He's like mystic form. Um, Stuff like that is always cool to me because I don't like that like only the Saiyans can be good. With Gohan, yes, he's a Saiyan and he benefits from being a Saiyan, but his strongest ability has is not connected to being a Saiyan. It makes him very interesting, and I like that. I like adult Gohan. Do I like him more than Teen Gohan? I'm glad both Gohans are in the game. If you're going to do the game, doing only Teen Gohan is a better choice than doing only adult Gohan. But if you can do both, that's the best. You know, have both Gohans. That's good. First of all, it's gonna make everyone happy, and no one's gonna complain. No one's gonna be upset that two Gohans are in the game because every DBZ fan understands how different and unique these two Gohans are. And I mean, the way they fight is completely different. You know, Kid Gohan fights like a wild animal, and he mainly gets his burst of strength from rage. Mystic Gohan or Adult Gohan is way more controlled of his temperament, and because of that, he can't really access his full power. Not only that, but of course, he hasn't been training nearly as hard as growing up. And they even showed in Super, of course, he's been getting like increasingly weaker and weaker. But when Gohan is in his mystic form, he's stronger than Goku at his top until Super. In Super, Goku is stronger than Gohan. But in Z, Gohan is stronger than Goku. He's like the strongest character that's not a fused character. You know, he even mops the floor with Super Buu before Super Buu fuses with Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks. If Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks is not able to kill Super Buu, and Gohan just makes Super Buu look like a punk, that should show Gohan's gross amount of power. And yeah, Buu does outpower him once he fuses with Gotenks, which is already a fused character. So it's like, when it comes to non-fused characters, Mystic Gohan has got to be the strongest. Now Super Buu is, I guess, stronger than Kid Buu. It's not really that clear in the show, but you know, if Gotenks is having a hard time with Super Buu, Goku should not be able to like go toe to toe with Kid Buu. That's just not how it is. But Kid Buu is not as strong as Super Buu. That's got to be the explanation. And I'm pretty sure in the show they did say something like that. That Goku said like, "Oh, we can take him on this form," meaning he was at least weaker than Super Buu, fused with Gohan. He was at least like either at Super Buu's base level or he was weaker than Super Buu. Either way, Super Buu and Kid Buu have kind of interchangeable movesets. They basically fight the exact same. Super Buu doesn't become unique really until he fuses with Gohan, and when I say unique, I mean unique from the Buus. He just kind of adapts a bunch of other moves. You know, it doesn't. Super Buu just basically fights more like Gohan. He doesn't, you know, he can shoot the Kamehamehas and he can do all this and that, and he can do the ghost attack like Gotenks. So really, he's not. He doesn't really fight that uniquely, but at least unique for Buu, he does. Kid Buu is perfect. Perfect character. Put him in the game. Super happy about Kid Buu. Super happy about Mr. Gohan. And I'm happy that I was able to call Gotenks. Gotenks is a character I'm probably not going to play myself. I might possibly play Gohan or Kid Buu. I'm probably not going to play Gotenks, but he was someone who I was like, they got to put him in. Now, when you look at the characters, there seems to be 18 total characters? Yes, 18 total characters. 18 is a multiple of 3, which is why I liked it. 15 was a multiple of 3, and then they announced 3 at a time. Instead of doing 2, then 2 again, they did 3 at a time. This is great because this means they're at 18, which means if they could do another multiple of 3 characters and be at 21, or do a multiple or add 6 more characters, which would be a total of 24. And a lot of us are thinking 24 would be the max character count. And when you look at the symmetrical balance of hero and villain characters, now they're kind of cheating a little bit because they're saying 18 and 16 are villains. In my opinion, 18 and 16 are heroes. Vegeta's on the hero side, so I don't think 18 and 16 deserve to be on the villain side just because they're like, I don't see the difference. You know, Vegeta's on the hero side and he started out as a villain, so I don't understand that. But I will say that I understand why they're doing it, which is because they want to have an equal amount of heroes and villains. At least that's how it seems, because they keep putting hero characters and villain characters on separate sides. Now, this means they're probably going to add in a few more villain characters because we've already announced a lot of hero characters. But if you want to make a perfect balance of hero and villain characters, they would have to do 24 characters. And the way they would do it is they would do 2 more hero characters and 4 more villain characters. Because when you add up all the villains, there was an empty spot under 18 and 16 for another villain, and then they decided to announce 2 villains, so that filled up that spot, and then set up a whole another row, and then there's a whole like another row after that. So they need more villains. They need 4 more villains. Then for the heroes, they need 2 more because they've added in after adding in Yamcha and what's his face. I'm sorry. When I was explaining the villains, they also added in Kid Buu. But anyway, now they've added in Gohan and Gotenks. So now there's you know 3 spots, or there's 2 spots left because Yamcha and Tien putting in either Gohan or Gotenks in that spot would fill up the spot, and then they would need more. They would need like 2 more, yeah, because there would be a whole nother row started from Gohan or Gotenks. So it's hard to picture in your mind, but basically, yeah, they're gonna most likely it'll be 2 more hero characters and then 4 more villain characters, and we kind of got a hint at these 4 because there was a screenshot that showed that what arcade mode would look like, and there's 2 characters. It was a low res picture. There's 2 characters that they showed in that arcade mode where it showed like all the different paths you could take, and one character looks suspiciously a lot like Beerus, and there's no way to mistake it. It's fucking Beerus. Like, the character is purple and it has big ears. There's no other purple character with big ears. There's no other character with ears. You can't quite make out the face or what he's wearing, but it looks like fucking Beerus. Now, it could be a challenge mode. It could be like a challenge mission. But considering Beerus is the main antagonist of Battle of Gods, and that was the movie that fucking kickstarted Dragon Ball Super, and there's subtle elements of Super with the Super Saiyan Blue characters and Golden Frieza, why have Resurrection of F representation and then not have Battle of the Gods representation? And yes, it's even considered Dragon Ball Z Battle of the Gods. So it makes so much sense. Beerus belongs in there more than any other super character, okay? And if you're going to put in Golden Frieza, there's no reason why Beerus can't be in the game. He fought Goku. It may have been only one fight, but it was a big fight. We also got to see how Beerus fought against Vegeta. And we also have a lot of source material from the manga, Dragon Ball Super, and the movie Battle of the Gods. So Beerus, the fact that they showed him there, I don't think it's going to be a boss mission or a challenge mission. I think it's going to be straight up Beerus will be a playable character. Now, a lot of other people in that same picture, there's another character that looks kind of like Hit. Again, it's very low resolution, and honestly, it could have been Captain Ginyu. It could have been Ginyu in the picture, but I'm thinking, you know what? It might actually just be Hit. So, and again, it makes a lot of sense. When Super Saiyan Blue Goku does his Kaioken attack, it's the attack he actually used in that mode as Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken to attack Hit. So I don't see why Hit can't be in the game, and his moveset is very, very unique. When the game was first announced at E3 this year, I was kind of suspect to the idea of... I wasn't quite sold on the idea of Hit. And that was because back then I kind of figured Hit might be a little too OP. But now, with the way this game is coming out, it looks like characters are going to be a little bit more balanced. And I'm wondering, like, Hit won't be, like, super powerful or anything. I think he'll more be about his very crazy and unique moveset. And I would love to see how they would do that in a fighting game. It would probably be one of the most unique fighting game characters I've ever seen, with his ability to completely stop time. Maybe he could have a super where he just stops time and you can just do whatever the fuck you want and they basically can't block it. Or maybe I mean, that seems like a great idea for a super. That would make him super unique. Maybe he could have an ability. His level 3 could probably be like some sort of perfect combo or something as long as you hit the first punch. Like you have to at least hit the first punch. If they block it, then it doesn't work. But, there's a lot of cool abilities you could do with a time skip character. So, and yeah, they need more villains in this game. That'd be two more villains, and then they would only need two more after that. So then we'd have two heroes and two villains. So let's go ahead and decide that Hit and Beerus will be in the game. I think I think Beerus has like wow. I think Beerus has like an 80% chance of being in the game, and I think Hit has about a probably like a 70% chance of being in the game. I mean, it might have been already confirmed with that screenshot. We can't really say for sure, but I believe they'll probably announce those two together next, Hit and Beerus. They'll probably be the next two announced if they do. Well, actually, I don't know if I'd say that. No. They'd be the next two announced. Um, if so, as far as more villains after that, that's when I start scratching my head and think like, who would make it in? If there's only two more villains left, who would make the cut? I had this theory about Dr. Gero being a great character to be in the game, and I thought he would probably be the most likely after. Um, I thought he'd be the most likely character after Tien and Gotenks, and I once they announced Android 21, I realized it's very not like it might not happen. It could very well not happen. So I'm not saying Gero quite yet, but I do think Gero still has like a 55% chance of being in the game. I think it's still possible. I think it is still very possible. Um, but someone like maybe Deborah is a lesser character from the Buu saga, but he would be kind of unique. He fights with a sword. His spit turns to stone. So I think there is a possible chance for Deborah to be in the game. I know a lot of people might. Deborah's not exactly a fan favorite though, so it's like maybe like a 65% chance. I think Raditz is more of a fan favorite than Deborah, but Raditz just, guys, he has no fucking move set. He is nothing. Like he doesn't do anything. He has like one move and it's just a blast of energy. And he has another move where it's just a blast of energy coming out of each hand. Those aren't moves. Raditz can't. He has no moves, guys. He has no fucking moves. He doesn't fight any unique or any interesting style. He's a very basic villain that was supposed to. He literally only exists just to set up Nappa and Vegeta. Which, of course, Vegeta is going to be in the game. He's a very important character to the main roster of Dragon Ball Z. But even Nappa was a more important villain than Raditz. And I just don't see. Yeah, I just don't think Raditz will be in the game, guys. So I think Deborah has a higher chance of Raditz just because he has unique moves. But honestly, I'm also thinking another villain from Super might be the best choice. And that would be Goku Black. And if they did this, it might be the same exact gimmick as 1718, where Zamatsu is with him at all times, but I don't think it will be the exact same where they're basically interchangeable. Even though that's the way they should fight, I don't think they'll end up fighting exactly like that. If they do that gimmick again where it's the exact same 1718, that might be reserved for more of a DLC type character, because for the main roster, I would assume they would do more original style characters. So if they do it, Zamatsu might just show up for supers, where he just helps do bigger blast. He might not have like anything super unique to himself. And I think they would do Goku Black, not Zamatsu Goku Black fused into one Zamatsu. Because Zamatsu's immortal. And that's also why I'm saying Goku Black will specifically be playable and not Zamatsu. Now, Goku Black is someone I think could be DLC, but if we're thinking Beerus and Hit could be in the game, then I think Goku Black has a strong chance to. Um, I don't think anyone from the current tournament arc will probably be in the game. Don't expect someone like Jiren. Jiren is prime DLC material. He's got to be DLC. And I'm not saying this game's going to go down the super path, super hardcore, but I would really like characters like Khalifa and Jiren to be DLC. And Goku Black, he could be DLC too, but I would really love for him to be in the game. He has very unique attacks. People like him. He would look very unique because he wears black robes, and he wears Kai's clothes basically. He wears all black, and he has pink hair. Like, do it, just fucking do it. Like, his moveset would be completely different and unique from Goku's, but he would look like Goku but with pink hair and wearing all black. Like, that's a very unique style character. So yeah, I think Goku Black would be just one of the best choices they could possibly do. Um, Fuck, man, who else? Um, so yeah, I would say either Deborah and Jiro would also be in the game along with Goku Black. But part of me doesn't think Deborah or Jiro because I feel like they would have been announced by now. Because Jiro's a part of the Android saga and Deborah's a part of the Buu saga. They just announced a bunch of Buu saga characters. Not, I mean, they're all duplicate characters. Like, there's 2 Gohans, 2 Buus, and technically 2 Trunkses if you count Gotenks. So, it's like they're all second characters of other characters already in the game. So it's like, I understand they announced them all at the same time, but I also have to think they did that because they're Buu Saga, and they're basically doing the Buu Saga characters now. And I don't think so. I don't think we'll get Deborah or Jiro, and I think the next 2 characters will be in Beerus and Hit, and possibly Goku Black. But as far as another villain goes, they could do another villain from Super, but I just don't know who they would do. Let's get away from the villains, though. Goku Black, I say, has like a 75% chance of being in the game. I think he's even more possible than Hit, but yeah. And I'm not talking about like what they've said. Hit might very well just be in the game. I'm talking about like moveset wise and how they can make it work. Then when it comes to the heroes, Mr. Satan gotta be one of them. Mr. Satan, and I'm thinking possibly Master Roshi, Mr. Satan, and Master Roshi. And when you think of all the other hero characters, Videl ain't gonna happen. Kaioshin, otherwise known as Supreme Kai, ain't gonna happen. A lot of other characters would be considered villains, so I'm not like, who else is left? It's got to be Mr. Satan and Master Roshi. That's got to be the 2 remaining heroes. The only thing is with Master Roshi is I'm not sure how unique they can make his moveset. There could be something there with his muscle ability, but I'm not too sure yet. I'm not completely sold on it yet. So, Master Satan, though, he's not going to be DLC, but he's got to be in this game. He's in almost all the fighting games. He's super fun to play as, and this game would make him more balanced than ever. And he would just be great. And he'd be a total gag character, but gag characters work actually kind of well in these 3-on-3 fighting games. After all, Krillin and Ginyu both seem to be sort of gag-ish characters as well. So, I mean, at least they're like novelty style characters. But Mr. Satan he would definitely be another character like that. So you gotta be Mr. Satan, dude. Mr. Satan's gotta be in the game. And yeah, then possibly also Roshi. And I'm trying to think of what other hero besides Roshi they could do, and I just can't really think of much. I doubt we'll see any second version of another character. We've already got all the secondary versions we're ever going to see in this fucking game. That was probably the last of them. I'm not expecting fucking Oob or something stupid like that. So, like, yeah, to me, Master Roshi probably makes the most amount of sense now that we've already decided that Tien, Yamcha are in the game, Krillin's in the game. Like, who's left for hero characters, you know? Has to be Master Roshi. So, thinking, yeah, Satan and Roshi will be next. And as far as DLC goes, I am thinking Jiren for DLC, possibly Khalifa. Um, if not, there's gonna be 8, so I'd also like to believe possibly Brawly. Um, Brawly could also may end up being just in the game itself as that final character announced along with Goku Black. I mean that's very possible. But imagine if they announced Roshi, Satan, and Brawly together. But either way, Brawly could be a villain, or Brawly could be a DLC character. I'm thinking Vegito could possibly be a DLC character because I don't think Vegito will be in the game. There's no fucking way. Especially because the first thing they do when Vegito's in the game, they're gonna bitch about Super Saiyan Blue Vegito. And when the game first came out, I was thinking because Golden Frieza was in it, they gotta do Goku and Vegeta Blue. But the problem is that I didn't know how they would handle this, and I was thinking instead of making like super powered versions of Goku and Vegeta who are way stronger, instead just make it palette swaps and just make it simply Goku and Vegeta literally the same exact characters, but their hair is blue, and it's just a different color you can pick. But I also, if they did that, the Super Saiyan 3 Goku would look very stupid and it wouldn't work and wouldn't make any sense. So instead of doing Super Saiyan 3 Goku, make it to where he does Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken. They kind of went with that same premise with the two different characters, but they changed their stats and changed some of their moves as well. And that was probably the best choice. But I realized, back then that's how I thought of the game. But now I realize so much more about the game. Like, they're not going to put a character into the game unless their moveset is specific. So, like, Blue is in the game, but they gave them more moves based off what they actually did when they were Blue. Like, Goku has the 1-inch punch. Vegeta has a move where he pummels you straight into the ground, sort of like what he did to Goku Black. And also Vegeta's level 3 is now just a big strong punch too, because he doesn't really do like Final Flash or Big Bang as Super Saiyan Blue, at least not too much. I have seen him do Final Flash a few times in Gallic Gun, when he fought against Goku Black, but yeah, the big punch is something that they did it for a reason. They did it because they're trying to stick to the actual show and manga and say, hey, this is what this character did when he looked like this. And so, yeah, Goku's moveset, Vegeta's moveset, and the Blue movesets are all different because they're all based off what they've actually done as those characters. The game's not about, like, taking liberties with characters. The game really wants to be strict and stick to what they should be doing. The only liberty I've seen taken is 18 having 17's android barrier shield, but it makes a ton of sense. So like, I'm fine with it. And plus, there's the theory that you'll be able to pick 18 and switch to 17 as the playable character. If you do that, then it'll make even more sense. So yeah, I think that's fine. That's one liberty they've taken that I've basically accepted. But really though, man, so Vegito, if they put him in the game, I don't think they'll even do Vegito Blue, and people are gonna bitch and whine for it, and they're gonna ask for it. Don't do it. Just don't do it. It would be pointless. But they might do Vegito. They might just completely avoid it. I think Vegito does have a unique enough fighting style, and he has unique moves with a Spirit Sword attack. But man, it might not even happen, which would be sad. But that's probably what's going to happen. But if he is going to happen, it'll be DLC. As far as, yeah. And then as far as, like, other characters, man, I'm not exactly sure who I would really think. 8 characters, man? And I think maybe even Master Roshi could be DLC. Just like I think Goku Black could possibly be DLC. But, man, I think they'll be in the game. But I also think Great Sandman might be a choice to be in the game as DLC. Not in the main game, but as DLC, yeah. But I'm not even that keen on that idea. I was actually pretty sure Adult Gohan would be DLC, and here he is in the main game. So I'm trying to think of 8 more characters, man. I'm kind of scratching my head. I come up with like 4, but coming up with more characters, I think we could possibly see some crazy choices. Possibly Jiro and Deborah there. Possibly, more super characters. Possibly Maybe some characters from Dragon Ball. You know, that'd be cool to see some old school villains come back. But yeah, man, the possibilities, man, are crazy. Also, they might do some of the characters from the games, like Toa might be playable. There was a leak that people really suspected that Toa would be one of the boss characters, the secret boss character. I don't think Toa's gonna be in this game, guys. I think this game's gonna focus way more just around the show, and that's why we're not gonna see him too much from the movies or anything. They've kind of said already they're trying to restrict what they put in the game, not just put like a crazy amount of fucking shit. So yeah, DLC, man. It's hard to guess. It's hard to guess what they'll do, but the DLC they'll probably take way more liberties. Um, hell, a character might just be straight up Ultra Instinct Goku. Like we don't know what they do. We don't know, but I hope not. I hope they just don't do that shit. Either way, oh man, because eight's weird. Because it's like that's a multiple. That's not like a multiple of three. You know, that would really fuck things up. So if they do eight and it's like one character's Ultra Instinct Goku and it goes to like another Goku slot, and one character's like Great Saiyaman Gohan that goes to another character slot, then they could do six characters, as in three heroes and three more villains, and it would be perfectly fine. But the problem, my theory is, I don't think Ultra Instinct is really going to be in the game, and I also am not completely sold on Great Saiyaman. So yeah, we'll see what the DLC is. You know, who knows what it'll be. So yeah, overall though, I am hyped. I'm hyped for this fucking game. Comes out January 26th. We're getting close, guys. It's gonna come before we know it. It's really right around the corner. It's just about December now. Man, oh man. All we gotta do is wait for late December, and I betcha, we just got these characters announced. I betcha around mid-December or late December, we will have two more characters announced. And it'll probably be Hit and Beerus. And then, so we might not be that surprised. But after Hit and Beerus comes the real fun stuff. And I think definitely before the game, sometime in early January, they're going to announce every last character. And usually what's kind of fucked up and crazy is that a lot of fighting games announce at least the first few DLC characters, possibly just the first one before it comes out. Marvel vs. Capcom teased that Sigma was confirmed as like the first DLC character. Tekken didn't tease this, so Tekken's a bad example. But more Injustice. Injustice is a good example. Injustice teased the first three DLC characters. I don't think we'll get 3 or 4. Smash Bros. 4 announced a Mewtwo before the game came out. A lot of fighting games do this, where they announce one character that's DLC before the game is out. I'm not thinking they'll do one. They'll possibly do 2 DLC characters, but I'm kind of thinking they'll probably just say only who the first one is. But I think we're gonna have a really good idea of who the DLC character is, and we'll know the full roster all in January. But December they'll at least confirm Hit and Beerus in December. We might get a cool new video that shows off all their gameplay. So far, they have released a video of Gotenks' gameplay, and we get to see Kid Buu getting beat up by Gotenks, but we haven't quite seen Gohan or Kid Buu yet. I was hoping they would do it daily updates. I think they're doing weekly updates. So sometime next week, we'll probably get to see either Kid Buu or Gohan. I am not sure who they would do first. I would want to think they would do Gohan next. Gotenks, then Gohan, then Kid Buu, but they might be saving Gohan for last because he's probably the one we all care about the most. So either way, these are all my predictions. I have a lot of predictions, and I'm sorry. I think Hit and Beerus. I think Beerus is if I was gonna say like of all the characters, who's the next most possible choice, it's gonna be Beerus. And I'm not just saying that because of the screenshots. I think Beerus makes the most sense. Then probably Mr. Satan. And then probably Goku Black. And then probably Hit. And then probably Master Roshi. And then that last villain, man. It could be anywhere between Brawly, Deborah, and Dr. Gero. Take a pick. If it's not one of them, I'll be fucking shocked. If it's not one of those 3 villains, I will be fucking shocked. And if Goku Black's not in it, then I will be like, and it's not any one of those 4 villains that I've predicted, man, oh man, who the fuck would they pick? But some of those 4 villains probably won't make the cut, but especially considering if Hit and Beerus are in, then there's only 2 slots, so it could be any of them. But that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. I think it's gonna be one of those 4 villains for those 2 slots after Hit and Beerus. So, and I think Goku Black's definitely gonna be one of them. But I'm still giving him only like a 70% chance. Beerus with like a 65%. No, Beerus has like an 80% chance. With Hit having like a 60% chance, with Mr. Satan having like an 80% chance, just like Beerus, and Master Roshi probably having like a 60 or 70% chance. I think Roshi could be good, but man, I don't know, man. I don't know. I want to end this video now. I took 40 minutes of people's time, but it's exciting. FighterZ is gonna be fucking awesome. So get ready. January 20 something. I already forgot, but get ready.